and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back here to Camaro's Not Coffee. There's Camaro right there, taking up the whole garage. And I don't know if you guys have seen the garage update, but we got some new lights, and of course the new floor, which is pretty sweet actually. It's all this stone, similar to nature stone. And then we reorganized everything so it's not as cluttered looking as it was before. And it's pretty awesome to work in here now. I determined it was probably time to change the cabin air filter. I've had the car 2 years now. It's been about 15,000 miles, so I figured I should change it. I don't know if it's ever been changed. So I went and bought the filter. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's very quick. Shouldn't take you all that long. So here's what you'll need. This is the one I got. It's a Bosch 6054C, and it's a HEPA filter. That was just a personal preference of mine. I got that. I got that at Advance Auto Parts for $22. So it's not cheap. But at the same time, it was not the cheapest one. The cheapest one they had was $15, and the most expensive was like $44. I was not going to spend $44 on an air filter for the inside of the car. Other thing, a flathead screwdriver. That's all you need. So these two things are required. Obviously, the filter, screwdriver to get some of the clips off, because it's not behind the glove box. It's in the engine bay. A twist, I know. I was surprised too. And the other things I would recommend having would be a shop vac of some sort, and a bucket with just a little bit of water, because there's going to be a lot of dirt under there, and you're going to want to be able to clean that out. So I'm going to show you guys now, super simple. So you're going to come up on the passenger side of the car, and this piece is what you're taking off. The filter's under here. So you're going to start by removing this part of weather stripping. It just pulls back, real simple. You can take the whole thing off. You don't have to. It's up to you. There's going to be a lot of dirt underneath it that I'm going to take it off to clean. So that's just me. Now you're going to want to look at these clips. There's just 3 of them. One there. One here, which I've already partially removed, and one here, which I've also partially removed. So this is where you're going to take your flathead screwdriver, and you're just going to get up under one edge of that, whichever one's accessible, and kind of just work it back and forth. Oh, and that one popped out. Real simple. So sometimes these are going to be very annoying to get out, and sometimes they're going to come out like that one day. It's just going to pop out, and you'll be like, oh my gosh. But pretty much, this doesn't always come all the way out. It might just sit in that piece and stick out, kind of like these are. So then what you do, you set that off to the side, and then if we come to this one, you get up under this bottom piece, and same thing, you just kind of work at it a little bit, and it will, over time, start to come up to the point where you can grab it and just pull it out. And that's what that's going to look like. Alright, so now that we've gotten those 3 clips out, it's time to take the panel off. So you're going to want to pull up over here, and it's going to be real stuck in here, for the first time especially. After that it might be a little bit easier, but the first time it's going to be stuck in this strip back here. So you're going to pull up on this corner, and you'll want to start pulling it away from here and up. And it'll remove it from underneath that strip. It'll kind of pop out, it'll be all out, and then you'll just have to pull towards the center of the car to get around this rubbery hood stop. I'm not exactly sure what it's for, but it's like a hood protector thingy. Pull it out, and you can set this off to the side. Alright, so after removing that, we're almost done already. So there's 2 plastic clips. They just push outward on both sides. So we got one on the left and one on the right. You push them out, and you'll feel it move away. And then what you do is you just pretty much pull the piece out. Once you get those clips out, that's what's engaging it. So this is the piece holding the filter in. And then what you can do is just grab the filter, give it a little shake, and it will slide right out. And based on how gross this thing looks, I'm going to say it is time to replace it. You know, at least this point, I'll know when I changed it, so I can know when to change it next. But pretty much, I wasn't sure when this had been put in, so that's why we're going to change it. So that's what that is, and this is pretty much trash at this point. Alright, so after we got the filter out of there, you guys can see just how dirty it is in there. There's some stuff down, all the way down there. So I am just going to take the shop vac and the microfiber cloth and just some water, clean this down so that it looks great when we put it back together, because I don't want to put it back together dirty. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, now that that's all cleaned out, I'm going to open up our filter. So I think you just get the filter in here. There shouldn't be anything extra. And is there anything? Nope, empty box. So it's gonna bag. Pop this open. And there is our filter. So an important thing to pay attention to when you're putting this in is there's an arrow on the filter itself that tells you which way to put it in, and right there it says airflow this way. So you want the arrows to point towards the car because that's where it's going to go. So airflow that way means it's going to, you see where that is? I'm going to put it like this in the space where the cartridge can go, in that little slot. So that's what you're looking for. You got to make sure you pay attention to that. All right, even with the lights, it's hard to see. So there's that airflow right there. You can see it right there. Airflow this way, so we're gonna put it in just like this because the air is flowing towards the car, obviously. And it'll just slide in there, in the slots. And then there we go. So it was a little off. I just had to pick it up and it lined up better. So it was just a little offline, and that fixed that problem. All right, so now we got this piece that just holds the filter in instead of letting it fall out. And you got this flat part going towards the inside of the car, and it's really just gonna get in a little track, and you just push down. Let me do it one more time so you guys can hear that click. Okay, so you hear it click 2 times, one on both sides, and that means it is in place. So we're all good there. Now we're gonna take our big piece, and we're gonna come in, and this part is going to be a little more difficult. So you kind of want to reverse what we did the first time, except the thing is it came out of that weather stripping, and that's going to be hard to get it back in there. So I actually broke a little, here, let me show you actually. I broke a little clip off trying to put it back on the first time before I showed you guys what was happening. So right down there, this was like a little guide that was on there. So it broke off because it's very tight and I was struggling to get it back on. So I'm going to try to do this again. And what I'm going to do is just backwards what I did the first time. So we're going to put the side towards the outside of the car down. And we're going to push it back up into the corner. And then one thing you can look for is there's this hole over here. That's one of the clips we took out at the start. Make sure that's lined up. If that's lined up, then you can figure you're pretty much far enough back. And now what I'm going to do is come towards the windshield part and just try to get the edge lined up in this weather stripping. So I got it started, so I'm going to grab you guys and show what it looks like. So that right there, how it's in there, you see that going in there. So now that's what we're going to want to do the rest of the way down. And when we get that in, that will pretty much line everything up to allow it to be back where it's supposed to be, allow us to put those clips in. So again, it's not really easy to get it into that weather stripping piece at all. It's at the base of the windshield. Oh, and see, there it all moved. I think that's how I broke that clip the last time. The whole thing moved and it fell out of place and it just snapped right off. So we're going to try again. This time it's a little bit better there. Okay. That's pretty good. Now I'm just going to give it a little tap, and it is pretty much back in place there. So that's the best way to do it. Start with the side, work it into the weather stripping. You saw it slipped, but after it slipped, it actually went in a little easier. So now that we got that in, we'll take our clips, and again, if they're separated in 2 pieces, you go ahead and just put the one in. One thing to watch for, make sure you put these slots so that in such a way so that you can get the screwdriver back under. If you put this one like this right here, you can't get the screwdriver under there. So you want to put it sideways. Then that gives you plenty of space to get the screwdriver, and the next time you got to go change this. You don't want to be giving yourself an extra headache the next time you go do this. So then the little extra piece just boop, pops right in. And the ones that are together still, you have to make sure it's sticking far enough up, otherwise it won't slide in. But you go ahead, watch those screw slots, and you just pop it in. And the third one will just go right in the exact same way. Of course, don't forget your weather stripping. A lot of weather stripping, this piece of weather stripping that goes right over top of these. And you go ahead and just throw this in there. Just sits right on this lip Just give it a nice push down, and you're all set. Alright, so we're all done actually. That was super simple. I got a couple other things to do to the car, including something I'm going to record right now, separate video, so go check that out. I'm going to post this one first actually, so watch for that video. And it's going to be a slight modification, not a whole lot of modification, but just a little bit. And then I'll turn the car on and I'll show you guys what the air is like inside, I guess. Alright everybody, so it is later now. I actually did not get to starting that other video, so hopefully I'll do that tomorrow or the day after. Should be pretty soon where I'll start that, hopefully finish quickly. But in the meantime, I did just go and wax the whole car, and it is very smooth now, looking really good. But we still need to check that the filter works, so let's get a start up. Alright, so let's check that. Alright, it's coming out. Pretty good feeling too. I don't know if it smells better. Should we smell it? I mean, it smells the same. I don't know. But yeah, it's coming out good. That's a level. The thing about the fan in this car for me is that level 1, literally, it's nothing, and then it's like max fan already. I mean, it's got 12 different levels. So it's obviously not max, but level 1 it's got a lot of power behind level 1. I don't know why they did it like that. There's no like little, but you just gotta deal with it. But that's going to just about wrap up this video. If you have any questions, please leave them below. At least it was pretty straightforward, so I think you guys can all figure it out. But with that, have an awesome rest of your day. Peace.